my freshman year, coming to LSU, and we're not having a good season. So one day we come in, we got a guest speaker. We don't know who it is yet. And then all of a sudden, here comes Shaq. I'm pretty sure he has some jorts on. Shaq gets up in front of us, and he goes, I want all you motherfuckers to know that you owe me. No bullshit. I was up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and some guy walks up to me, and he says, LSU sucks. So I hit his ass with a two-piece, bop, bop. And then all of a sudden, I get this lawsuit. I go back, and I get on my phone, and I look up LSU's record, and you motherfuckers have won 3 games. So I just want you motherfuckers to know right now, you all owe me.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Joe Schmo Sports Show. With you, as always, Clint, Dom, and Dre. How are you fellas today?
Doing good, doing good.
Yeah,
How you
Dre
doing?
with the thumbs up over there, so I guess everything's good over there on the boards. And today we bring into the studio Division I athlete, pro athlete, and now business professional, Mr. Ralston Turner. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, man. How you guys doing?
Oh, you know, it's hot as hell outside, so we're up in the indoor studio.
Feels good. I love the air conditioning.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
Air conditioning and whiskey.
Yeah.
All right, so Ralston, tell us a little bit about you, man. I know you're an Alabama boy. Tell us a little bit about Mr. Ralston Turner.
Where do I start, man? So, born and raised in Alabama, Muscle Shoals, Alabama, small town, northwest corner. I always get that question, where is that?
So, are you an Auburn fan or an Alabama fan?
I actually grew up an Auburn fan.
That's Jackson.
People always ask me, where is that? And I always get the question, is it near water? Like, is it near the beach?
Because it's shoals.
Yeah, I think so. But it's not. It's actually in the northwest corner. It's near Tennessee, but it is near a river. It's near the mountain. It's near the Tennessee River. Yeah.
So it's near any of that shrimp?
No, I don't know or have never been to Greenbow, Alabama. Let me throw that out there, too. Never been there. So just want to get that one out the way.
You must get asked that a lot.
I'm just getting it all out the way, out front, right?
Wow, that's pretty annoying. I don't know if I would have asked that, but I can understand why.
Oh, no, I was totally on the gump train. The entire ask him if his mama gave him them magic shades.
But went to high school, Muscle Shoals High School. Now out of high school, went to LSU first for 2 years. Ended up transferring to NC State. Spent 3 years there. Sat out 1 year. Had a really good run there. After that, played a couple years of professional basketball. Played a little bit over in Europe. Played a couple seasons in the G League. And then after that, I came out into the working force. I've been a financial advisor ever since. I've been in the business 4 years now. Just looking to make an impact out here in the world now.
It's pretty great, man. It's good that you came back to the area. What drew you back to Raleigh?
Feels like home. So when I was young, and especially going through that recruiting process, you always heard people say, this place feels like home. Alabama feels like home, or Kentucky, University of Kentucky feels like home. And I never really had that feeling until I got to Raleigh.
Okay.
And I got the NC State, and it just felt like home, right? I remember a long time ago sitting in the cafeteria. I was in high school, right? I think I was 17 years old. And I remember the football coach walked by me, and he said, you think this is home, but there's so much more out there. And I looked at him, and I was like, nah.
Dude, you're a 17-year-old kid. Bro.
Yeah, I'm like, nah. Like, this is everything here in Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Yeah, you don't know shit.
Population 13,000 people. This is everything.
It's everything.
The best pizza in town is served in the high school cafeteria.
Yeah, like Muscle Shoals is everything.
Yeah,
Why would I not come back here?
Sure.
And then I came to Raleigh, and it was like, oh man, like I'd never really thought another place could feel like home.
What is it?
I think North Carolina in some ways reminds me of home. It's not too far north. It's not too far south. It has the best of both worlds. Has great mountains, has beaches. It's like everything that Alabama has. It seems like North Carolina has it here.
We have the Atlantic.
You do.
And not the Gulf.
You do.
It's a big difference, right?
Sorry.
Shockingly
I've
less
never been to the
humidity, which is not something you can normally say to anybody in North Carolina.
Right.
There's less humidity where you're from.
It's very true. It's very, very true, and you don't get to say that very often unless you're from Texas, Florida, Alabama,
anywhere on the
Mississippi.
go.
Right. You have that advantage for sure.
On that note, in the last couple of weeks, wasn't it like 75 degrees one day or something like that.
Yeah.
In the middle of June.
Couple
that was
days.
nice. That was
A couple of days. I played golf those days.
Never would have happened in Alabama.
I know.
Never.
How great is it, though?
But Saturday when I was out
Oh, it's
coaching a
135
softball
degrees.
game, it was 87% humidity.
Oh, yeah, 90. It's like you're swimming the first, right?
No, I was playing first base coach. I'm out there like I'm sweating more than the girls.
balls.
They're actually playing.
All right, so LSU. Tell us about a couple things. First of all, who was your coach there?
My coach was Trent Johnson.
Trent Johnson. Okay, I remember Trent Johnson. Didn't he coach at Alabama too?
No, he coached at Stanford.
Stanford, that's where it was. Okay, I knew it was another red school. So tell us a little bit about LSU, man. How was that experience? And I know you have a story about Shaq, so I've heard it, but everybody else needs to hear it.
So it was different. Obviously, coming from Alabama, and then you go to Louisiana.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Like it's different, but it's unique, right? So it's really close to New Orleans. There's a lot of diversity there.
They spelled good.
That was something else that I had to get on board with.
Wait, what?
Like
G-A-U-X?
G-A-U-X. Or like you might see something that's, for example, like you've ever heard the last name Thibodeau,
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
but it ends with an EAU.
That's
Yeah.
section.
So like,
Concept.
And an X. And
Yeah.
so I had to get used to that. And but food, some of the best food ever. Shoot, that was the first time I ever ate crawfish.
Oh, it's a
What
lot of
was-
work
what
for a
was the-
little result.
Well,
bro.
no, the question is, what was the first thing you had crawfish in? Or did you just have a crawfish boil and somebody over there was telling you to suck the head and you're like, no, I don't think so.
This podcast turned very
No,
different.
you know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah,
I have some attachments down here. Do you want to see them?
I think I had eaten something where they already had them just in the meal, but it was also the first time where they had a crawfish boil and gave me this
Potatoes,
big
corn.
fat pan
Yeah.
And Dewey.
with a whole bunch of crawfish in it.
Yep.
And they taught me how to get the piece of meat out of the shell.
Yeah.
All right, so educate. Because my wife is from Texas and she loves her some crawfish.
Okay, so the way I was taught, you grab the crawfish and you twist the head and snap it off.
Yep.
I was not one to get the juice out of the head. That wasn't.
To suckle on the.
Yeah.
It's like a lot
I wasn't doing that one. I wasn't doing that one. But then you like take the back, the whole shell's curled up a little bit, so you straighten it out.
Yeah.
And then you take your thumb and you pinch the end of it, and it'll just pop the little piece of meat out,
Yep.
and you pull it out, and there's like a black line or nerve or something running down the back,
Shit, the
and
vein.
you just pull that part
shrink
off.
Yep. Yep.
And it's
exactly the
good to
same.
go. And it was easy to describe, but that process probably took me like 5 minutes.
All right, so have you had any crawfish related injuries that required bandages?
No.
I know that they are sharp shells and they cut a lot of people.
So interestingly, no.
No.
And none of that.
Goodness, right?
I didn't know anybody else that had one of those incidents either. It had gotten to the point where I got in a groove with
Yeah.
it, where I was like, okay,
There's just so little in there, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like eating crab, but more frustrating.
Well, if you ever buy like a package of crawfish tail meat, each one of them is like this big.
Yeah, it's like
right?
not
It's
shit.
tiny.
Yeah,
you know.
it's not anything.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so
it's a lot of work.
Only time I was ever in Baton Rouge, I was driving to Houston and sat on the bridge for a little over an hour in traffic. And I know that's pretty typical from what I understand about Baton Rouge, because that was not my favorite thing in the world. Let's hear about the Shaq story, bro.
All right.
1 year there, right? 1 year at LSU?
Yep.
Okay.
And no, 2 years. And I'll try to say the PG version.
Oh, no, there is no PG version.
Just let us have it.
Well, let us have it. We know PG.
So my freshman year coming to LSU, and we're not having a good season record-wise.
Yeah.
Didn't win a lot of conference games. We were at the bottom of the SEC.
That's not a good thing.
And so one day we had like our film room, and we come in, and we're all sitting there, and we got a guest speaker. We don't know who it is yet. So we're all sitting there just, man, who is it?
All I see in my head is that Papa John's commercial when he walks in with that badass wig and stuff.
Right?
Like your Shaq.
You guys, Flavor of Love?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so the year Hoops was on it.
Yeah.
All right, so we look through the door, and the first person that comes in is Hoops.
Oh boy.
And she's real short,
Yep.
but looking good.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Shaq. big dude, got his house shoes on. I think he had some
24s or whatever he fucking wears.
I'm pretty sure he had some jorts on.
Oh my gosh. Is that real? Do we have some?
Did I say that right?
Jorts? Oh hell yeah!
And,
we need to see. I wish we had pictures of this.
And
the largest human being you could ever imagine in Daisy Dukes.
And like a big T-shirt on, big black T-shirt, right? Shaq gets up in front of us, and he goes, "I want all you motherfuckers to know that you owe me." And we're just looking at him like, "What?" And he said, "No bullshit. I was up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm eating with my guy. You can ask him. He's standing right there. And some guy walks up to me, and he says, LSU fucking sucks." And I look at him like, what the fuck did you say to me? And he said, LSU sucks. So I walked outside, and I looked at him, and I said, say it again. And he said it. So I hit his ass with a two-piece, bop, bop. And then all of a sudden, I get this lawsuit because I done knocked this guy out. So I go back and I get on my phone and I pull up the internet and I look up LSU's record, and you motherfuckers have won 3 games. So I just want you motherfuckers to know right now, you all owe me. And we was just like, whoa.
That is the best.
The monotone.
I know. Well, by the way, your Shaq impression is pretty spot on, bro.
So
I gotta just to let y'all know, y'all motherfuckers owe me. Because he was right.
Can you do a Chuck to have them going back and forth?
Delightful. I'd like to hear that conversation.
Oh man,
dude, that's a great.
I mean, he's a old Alabama guy.
Yes.
Who? Shaq?
Charles.
Oh, Charles. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now I got to hear about something.
Okay.
So first of all, why did you leave LSU?
Wait, how did you get recruited to LSU? How'd that go?
Okay, we can start there.
Yeah.
All right. It's actually funny because I said that I wasn't going to go there. Like, John Brady, I think it was his name. John Brady was the coach my sophomore year, and he ended up getting fired. And then Trent Johnson comes in from Stanford. He just had a really good run with Stanford. Had the Lopez twins. He had Landry Fields. They had a good team.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty easy to recruit in California.
So he comes in.
Ballers.
And one of his assistants reached out to my high school coach. And I remember like yesterday, I was sitting in his office and he sits me down and he was like, one of their assistants reached out and just wants to talk to you and all that. And I was like, all right, no problem. I'll talk to him because I don't want to leave anything on the table. But I'm telling you right now, bro, there's probably no chance I'm going to LSU. Yeah. Like, there's probably no chance.
Who else was recruiting you?
So at the time, I had a lot of people. I had Georgia, had Alabama, had Auburn, had Notre Dame.
Also coach Alabama?
No, it was Anthony Grant.
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame, yeah. Mike Bray.
Yeah.
And dude, Butler with Brad Stevens.
Ooh.
Dude, Brad came to my high school, man.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Super smart.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt.
Super smart. So, long story short, that spring happens. I think they had. I ended up seeing them. Maybe they came down to visit, like in the spring period. So the summer happens. I start seeing them around at all the AAU tournaments, and obviously Trent Johnson gets involved, and he meets my parents. So now my parents really love him. Yeah. And I'm seeing these Bayou Bengals all over the place. I ended up going on an unofficial visit in the fall of my junior year. Yeah. And that just swayed me. Yeah. Like it was all of a sudden, dude, I put my foot in my mouth. Yeah. Like I
player, students, or coaches, combination of the atmosphere?
Well, I would imagine that it would have to be a lot to sway you. Because what was the reason why you said flat out, I'm not going to go there? Was it because
an Auburn guy?
You're an Auburn guy. It's an SEC rival.
Yeah. I can't answer that effectively, but I'm pretty sure it had something to do with the perception.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, you grew up an Auburn fan, right?
Right.
That has a lot to do with it.
And
football
was a perception they weren't really a basketball first.
Right, of course.
I'll say this too, and I think there's some truth to this with all Alabama kids.
Yeah.
Even the University of Alabama. So Mark Godfrey was at Alabama when I was in school. So even the University of Alabama, like to Alabama kids, like seeing Alabama across your chest, it means something. It's like a sense of pride there. So even though I grew up Auburn, still me being from the state, Roll Tide, War Eagle, it's almost like, bro, like we don't mess with LSU. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
You know, so
keep it in the family, so to speak.
Yeah. And that was also the lesson when I learned, like, you got to take your feelings out of it. Because outside of, like, your traditionals, like if it's a Duke of Kentucky or, you know, Kansas or North Carolina.
Yeah, you hit one of the blue bloods.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to give you a hard time about it.
Yeah, but outside of that, like, dudes ain't. There's always some kind of bias there.
Yeah.
I believe that, right?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
junior year, I go there. So, to answer your question, I get on campus, and it was a combination of things. I think it's first to note the people. Like, they're different. It's like a different kind of vibe being there. It's almost like everyone's here and we ready to party and have a good time, and I'm just
That's what you're looking for in college.
Yeah, like
I think that's just Louisiana in general.
It was something about the energy there, just right with all the people. Then I started to love Trent and his staff.
Yeah.
So I already loved them. Then like the energy of the people, I could feel it. Yo, this is different, right? And then I go in there and I'm seeing all this stuff. So at the time, Marcus Thornton was at LSU. He ended up being a player of the year at SEC. Yep. Trent was the coach of the year. So I'm watching these dudes get down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that atmosphere, this coach, like.
Well, they have a history of college basketball.
Right.
Not necessarily greatness, but
they've had great players. Great players.
Maravich, Chris Jackson / Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, and then you got Shaq, just to name a few.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And so they had some really good players. Man, when Shaq destroyed Christian Laettner, I was so happy.
So that whole vibe, I was feeling all of that.
Yeah. No, I can understand that.
So when you made the decision and you came public with your commitment, what did your friends and everybody back in Alabama say?
It was weird. Yeah. My friends and family were cool.
Sure.
They loved me no matter what.
Awesome, sure.
But I would be lying if I didn't walk around sometimes and get a few like roll tide jabs thrown at me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you should have went to Alabama.
Yeah, should have went to Alabama.
Like you should have went to Alabama. I remember there was a article in the newspaper, one of the newspapers.
Yeah.
And the headline was Turner spurns Tide for Tigers. I'm like, what?
That's funny.
I did what now?
So then it's like I, in a way, became like this black hat wearing guy where.
Sure. Well, it's funny. It's funny because you're getting this portrayal in the media, and you're like, I don't even know this guy that you're talking about right here. Like, we got the same name, but it must be somebody else.
Someone told me one time, they were like, if you went to Kentucky, we wouldn't have been mad at you, but you went to LSU. Like, we just can't get over that. So it was a little bit of that.
That was just not an SEC thing.
That was
just a South thing.
And the other thing,
Kentucky's way worse.
Well, but Kentucky's one of those blue bloods that's like just a direct pipeline into the NBA.
Sure.
Look, if it's about going there and getting your money, then I'm sure people are going to understand. But
fuck those guys for my 2 cents. I'll say that.
Says the Carolina fan.
Right.
I also think it's purely motivated by football.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So your hate for a school
700%.
is purely based on the football rivalry.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's be real.
Yeah.
That's what that's all about.
Yeah, like people are shouting things at me. I'm like, bro, I don't even play football. Like, I don't care.
Exactly.
I don't care.
No,
That reminds me, just side note, my sophomore year in college, we went and played at Alabama. So they had the rematch of the national championship on Monday, and we played in Tuscaloosa on Wednesday.
Right, yeah, okay, nice.
And they were out there chanting names of quarterbacks and all that. I'm like, bro,
Please.
Yeah.
this is basketball. Like, we don't care.
Hey,
who won that game?
Oh, man. Alabama won that one.
Yeah.
And it was, they beat us pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so then why'd you leave?
So
Was that when Godfrey left and went to state?
So he was already there 1 year.
Okay. When you went.
Yep.
Okay.
So
and he recruited you at Alabama.
He recruited me at Alabama,
okay,
yes.
So there's the connection.
Right.
Okay.
So sophomore year, I was actually thinking about transferring, and I went and talked to Trent about it. I ended up deciding to stay. So I was going to stay.
Playing time.
Well, no. So yeah. Like I was going to stay at LSU. I think that's important to note. I was going to stay at LSU, right? What kind of went into my decision? Not what kind of. What did go into my decision was, number one, Trent ended up leaving.
That's right.
And he ended up going to TCU. And that was my guy. You know what I'm saying?
So that's why your parents liked him.
Yeah.
Liked him,
Yeah.
staff, right?
Like, that was my guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Who's
Trent.
the next guy coming in?
Johnny Jones came in after him. But Trent was my guy, right?
Right, exactly.
So Trent leaves. And then I'm looking at the roster. So I'm like, okay, we had 3 seniors last year. We got 1 guy entering the draft. We got 1 guy, and we don't know if he's going to be back next year. It's mid to late April. We got 1 signee coming in. Like, you do the math. Like
it sounds like a lot of walk-ons.
Something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are we going next? Because my first year, per the Shaq story, had a tough year.
Right.
My second year, we were in the hunt, the NCAA tournament, ended up going to the NIT. But I was just like, dude, I don't want to take any steps backwards.
Yeah.
Right.
And obviously the perception of the SEC at the time versus the ACC, like the SEC at the time, Tennessee would get in, Bruce Pearl. Kentucky was going to get in. Vanderbilt was going to get in. And Florida. Like, those were like your 4 mainstays.
And Vanderbilt's like a very edgy, low bottom type of.
The East was tough then.
Well, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Kentucky and everybody else. Kentucky, Florida, and everybody else.
And the SEC West had the perception not as good, right? So the SEC is going to get in 4 teams. On a bad year, the ACC will get in 7. So I'm like, okay, I haven't been to the NCAA tournament yet. I'm trying to make that happen. And then the other part is, obviously, we've already established that LSU and a lot of these SEC schools were football schools. I'll never forget this, man. I was a sophomore, and we opened up the year in the SEC play. We opened up the year with Ole Miss at home, beat them pretty good. Then we went on the road to Alabama, and then on the road to Arkansas. And both of those games we dropped, but we were in them. Like, we couldn't pull.
Arkansas is always a good program.
It's hard to play there.
Yeah, for sure, Nolan Richardson kept that going.
The funny thing is that's one of the few schools in the SEC that I think of as a basketball school.
That was the 90s.
I still think of it as a basketball school.
Attendance and support, they still got it.
Yeah, no shit. And they're actually pretty. They were great a few years ago.
Yeah.
They gave Carolina a run for their money. Almost put us out of the tournament.
Yeah. All right. So then after that was 3 games. So now we're on our 4th SEC game, and it's a home game against Auburn. And I'll never forget this. I remember you go back in the locker room, you have your last little hurrah, and then you get ready to come out and you do your layups, and then you'll go national anthem, and then it's time to play.
Start lineups, right?
Yeah. So that last time we came out, we're running out. We're under 10 minutes, and I'm looking around, and there's nobody there.
Whoa.
And I'm like,
yeah, that's tough.
I'm like, yo, last Saturday we played Ole Miss, or a Saturday ago we played Ole Miss. And the attendance was fair, but the national championship game was also in a couple of days. And we still hadn't started school yet. So there was many excuses you could have used for why it's not there yet, right? We go play at Alabama. They got a great crowd, and they're all on our butts. Then Arkansas, and we just talked about that support right there. And then I come home, and I see that, and I'm like, that's
pretty fair way to support.
That's discouraging.
Really
You know what I'm saying? So, like,
different than what you thought it would be when you visited and fell in love with the school during your junior year.
Yeah, so it's
You follow a winner.
Yeah,
that's true.
and I feel like that's in some ways the case everywhere.
Yeah.
But it was like
those places that aren't already basketball schools.
Yeah, but like right there, it was like it was hard. I promise you, I bet you there wasn't 10,000 people.
Man, you played when UCLA wasn't really that good either, and they were struggling with attendance too, and that's one of those blue bloods. So maybe it's just people building up excitement around the program and shit.
Well,
and I could understand why you would go, man, because that shit would bother the shit out of me.
I would say this. UCLA, there's an excuse there too in my eyes, where it's LA.
Right.
They got other stuff to do.
If you don't want to watch basketball, there's 100 other things you can do.
If you do want to watch basketball and the college program isn't any good,
you can watch the Lakers.
You can watch the Lakers. You can watch the Clippers. You can go watch USC. You go out the Redlands. You can watch. There's a lot of basketball.
Yeah. So to
out
that
there.
point, what else are you gonna do in Baton Rouge, right? You're not gonna go to the basketball game and there's no football game on. Are you starting the tailgate 3 days early? What are we talking?
Exactly. Right. So I said to myself at that point, I was like, I need to go somewhere. The quote I used was, I need to go somewhere where basketball means something, where I can play in meaningful games, home and away, and with good players. That was my statement. So
what were your choices?
You know how they got the transfer portal now?
I was going to ask how that was.
Yeah,
at
you're
that
like
point.
the transfer portal OG.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about the transfer portal.
So at the time, there was no transfer portal.
Right, you're out.
You had to sit out, period. You had to go and talk to your coach.
Get a release.
You had to go to administration. They had to release you.
Yep.
And then you could have the authorization to be contacted by other schools. So for me,
detected by other schools. Something.
So for me, I went in there and I told them that I wanted to transfer. Compliance office gives me this letter, and I actually kept it for keepsake. So I've got this letter, and it's from LSU saying, we hereby release you to da-da-da-da-da. And it's got 14 schools on it that I cannot talk to. And because at the time when I was in the SEC, it was 12. But the following year, it was going to be Texas A&M and Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't talk to any of those 12 schools.
No SEC schools, period.
You can't talk to none, period, plus Texas A&M and Missouri. So I get this, and I'm a private person.
Yeah.
A lot of times people would do that, and they'd make an announcement like I'm back on the market. I didn't. Matter of fact, this is just kind of how green I was at the time that I thought I could do the whole thing without anybody knowing about it until they just see me on a roster somewhere.
You grew up in the age of the internet.
You know what I'm saying?
They knew you were available right away.
Like I really thought like I could get away with that.
Somebody at the college newspaper there is already talking shit. The articles.
There was some kid sitting in his fucking mom's basement on a message board that knew it the minute it came out of his mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you kidding me right now?
Exactly.
I know. That's just the way this shit works.
So let me tell you how it happened. And
Some
I
kid
was
that never picked up a basketball in his life either.
Exactly.
I was actually pulling it off for a little while. So I got the release, and I didn't make a statement, so that meant I had to reach out to folks on my own. And one of the natural connections was NC State and Godfrey. I already knew him. He was at Alabama. So we had talked.
You already knew your family, your parents like him.
So we had talked, and I knew they were just coming off that Sweet 16 run, and they got guys coming back. Plus, they got 3 McDonald's All-Americans coming in at the same time. Rodney Purvis, T.J. Warren, Tyler Lewis.
T.J. Warren, boy.
So I'm looking. I'm like, yo, I know they're going to be, or at least talented again.
Yeah.
And then they're in the ACC. So I know the reputation of the ACC. Sure. I know the neighborhood that they're in. And I watched some of their games just as a basketball fan, not any backstory to it, but just as a basketball fan, I'd watch some of their games, and I saw the attendance in PNC. I saw the attendance at the Dean Dome. I saw the attendance at other places they played, and
you can't put Cameron in that.
Like
$8,000. But it's $8,000. People sitting right on the floor.
Oh yeah. So like I knew that people here like their basketball, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I decided that. All right, get in contact with them, and then we set up a visit, and then that was when the floodgate opened because I'm thinking that I'm going to do all this discreet, and all of a sudden someone's going to see me running out in a Wolfpack jersey, and they're going to be like, wait, what happened?
Wait.
And,
yeah. What happened when you set up the visit with NC State?
All right, I think it was close to the end of the semester.
Sophomore year still.
Sophomore year. I am a few days away from my visit.
Yeah.
Going into my last days of the semester to take all my final exams.
Oh boy!
Fucking go radios
and
or something.
I woke up one morning. I walked to class, took my exam, and when I walked out of the exam and pulled my phone out, I had so many notifications, and I'm like, "What the heck is going on?"
They found you. They found out.
So Pack Pride had tweeted that I was going to be on campus for a visit.
Oh, jeez.
And all of a sudden, all these people were tweeting at me. I probably had 18 missed calls, 12 voicemails.
What's going on, bro?
You know,
people
reported.
Emails. Those are the people you don't contact back.
Like people trying to get in contact with me about the decision, and we want to hear your story and all that. So at that point, like I'm running around campus. I'm like, dude, I gotta hurry up, man. Like, so this is no lie, man. I was going to take another test, and I was walking through the quad, and I heard a group of people. Like I walked by them just as quietly as I could, and they were like, "Did y'all hear the news?" And some dude was like, "What?" And he was like, "Ralston Turner's leaving." And at that point, I picked up my walk. Like, let me hurry up. And so after I take that test, I go immediately to the athletic office. I'm like, man, I got to make a statement. I don't feel like talking to all these people, so I got to make a statement. Whatever the statement was that I put out, but Johnny Jones, who just came in as a coach, he also had went in on the statement. But I thought I was going to be discreet, and it just blew up, and then it was chaos from there.
Any of those calls that were coming in come from other schools who now they know you're on the market and they're interested in recruiting you? Or was it mostly a bunch of hate mail, basically?
Mostly hate mail. I did have some smaller, kind of like mid-level, mid-major schools reach out. And
Sure.
I had a couple of coaches from the mid-major level that I guess they tried to play some Jedi mind games on me where they were basically like, you're leaving and you can't mess up again. Like, you can't get this decision wrong. So maybe you should come to our level and just be the man and whatnot. And I was like, respectfully,
No.
I'd like to go high major.
I didn't mess up in the first place.
Yeah, like I'd like to go high major, and I'd like to keep it that way. No disrespect.
Yeah, I did. My situation didn't change. The
Right.
school situation changed.
Yeah, but they can't be mad at you for that either, man, because you.
Would you ever consider going to a school where their message that they're sending to you is you messed up?
No.
Because
Never that.
Your coach left and they didn't recruit anybody.
Never that. Never that.
Oof.
So I'll tell
That's
you,
disrespectful.
I'll tell you, man. You are a part of one of my favorite games ever.
All right, it's Carolina time. Here we go.
Well, no, it's just the Marcus Page, T.J. Warren game.
Oh.
He knows what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's part of one of my favorite games in
Yeah.
the history of college basketball. And you know what? You can't find it on YouTube.
Really?
I don't know why. I haven't been able. I've tried, bro, and I just can't find it. Because that's one of the games that you just want to go back and watch. What T.J. Warren had 34, Marcus had 36 or some shit like that. He hit the most ridiculous layup I've ever seen in my entire life to this day.
Dude.
And then T.J. Warren almost hit that fucking shot at the buzzer. My heart stopped.
Dude.
when that fucking ball went in the air, my fucking heart stopped.
So
Because I knew it was going in.
So I'll be honest about it was a great game.
Yeah.
Marcus and TJ were slugging it out.
Never seen anything like it.
And I remember sitting there at one point in the game being like, dude, is this even real?
No.
Like,
I was on my TV set thinking the
you
same
know what I'm
thing.
saying? Is this
You remember
even
this game?
like
Unfucking believable.
is this even real? But
Dude, it was like heavyweight boxing. They were going
Yeah.
back and forth and back and forth. TJ would hit a three, Marcus would hit a three. TJ would hit a three, Marcus would hit a three. Marcus would hit a ridiculous shot. TJ would come up and do some dumb shit. It was unreal, bro.
I remember when he hit that layup,
I
and that was a tough layup, high off the backboard,
falling down to his left. It was
like
left hander.
yeah. Credit to him for making that layup.
He did a lot of that though.
But you are right, man. That was one of the best games I've ever been a part
Mm-hmm.
of in terms of like just watching dudes out there performing. Like, dude,
Well, let's not get it twisted. You averaged 11 points a game at State, so it's not like you didn't play.
no, for
So
sure.
You had a good career at State.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was just a hell of a game.
But that was just one of those games where I'm sitting there, dude. I'm really watching these dudes go at it. Like,
was
this.
that wasn't your sit out year?
No,
that
so
was senior.
It was my first year.
Right. Okay. Your first year actually. Played.
My first year actually playing.
Okay.
Yep.
Boy, that was. Whew. That was something. Yeah, I mean, there's no secret. I don't like State.
Let's go back a little ways and because we're still in the transfer portal.
Oh, yeah,
or
sure.
the transfer decisions. So you're getting some mid-major schools contacting you. Anybody
Butler
else
reached back out?
No.
No?
I think
Stevens
Brad
was
was
gone.
I think he left that year too.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So NC State was really the
It's a smart choice.
the major program that.
Yeah, so they just happened to be at the top of that list, and the way it went down was I ended up coming on my visit, and I got here, and I mentioned earlier where I just fell in love with Raleigh, and I saw the good players on their roster. There was a lot of buzz around the program. It just felt right.
Yeah.
PNC, no disrespect to P. Maravich Assembly Center, but PNC is a phenomenal place for a college basketball game.
It's a phenomenal
Holdsmore,
place. It's also a professional stadium as well.
And you can sell beer there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got season pad not to state basketball, but to
Well,
Carolina Hurricanes.
you can't sell alcohol at a collegiate event unless it's a professional venue.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so they can't sell beer at the Smith Center or at Cameron,
yeah,
but they can sell beer at PNC.
yeah.
Right.
That's
It's just weak. Weak as fuck.
Regardless, it's a nice. They can get raucous in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So thankfully it worked out. I remember I looked at my mom and I'm like, I can't say no to this because I think it's important to note. Johnny Jones told me that I could take visits, and if I didn't like what I saw,
Come back.
I could come back.
Yeah.
Which is
Slippery
unusual.
Slippery slope
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Because then you have to win back the fans,
Yeah.
and you have to.
yeah. But
And when you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah,
yeah, like I went there and thankfully it worked out. I just fell in love with the place.
So you tell your wife, I'm going to come back maybe.
Hey, how about we take some time to explore our options?
And then I'm going to come back. If I don't sign a contract somewhere else, I'm coming back. Right? So what was I always like asking people, like, what's the life of a D1 athlete? Like a student, being a student, full-time student, being a full-time athlete, trying to
who should be getting
yourself,
paid, by the way. I
right,
still believe
which
that.
you will be soon. But
well,
like,
no. I mean, just in general.
Yeah,
yeah,
sure. Being that all-around thing that you have to do, and you had the added pressure of you're trying to play for your profession, you're trying to play for the rest of your life. So how is, because a lot of people aren't like that, bro. Let's be honest. 98% of people that play collegiate sports aren't playing for their future; they're playing for now, right? So what was that like, man?
I think first, I know this is y'all podcast, so I think first the question is, what do you think it's like?
Sure. Anything. What's it actually? What do you think it's like? What did you hope it was going to be like?
I think it's a lot like what Richard Sherman said when he was talking about why he thinks athletes should get paid, is because you're literally a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And a full-time student
Sure.
at the same time. There's no life more difficult. When you get out in the professional, competition is higher, but that's all you're doing.
That's all you're doing.
Your job is to play ball.
You have no more class.
Right, exactly.
You got to worry about stats.
But when you're a collegiate athlete, your job is to play ball.
Yep.
But if you don't pass these classes, they won't let you do your job.
Right. Exactly.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
Right. And the colleges make billions of dollars.
Yep. And Ralston sitting over here, he got a lot to say.
I bet he does. But that's what I think it's
Hell
like.
yeah.
I think this is exhausting.
We just always like getting points of view that we're actually in it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip the whole part about all the things I've heard from like non-D1 athletes of their perception of what it is. Just to give you sort of an example of, it's this great time and you're making all these great memories and you shouldn't be paid because you get to go to school for free.
Right.
Nah, that's jealousy.
Yep.
And
that's I wasn't getting paid,
right.
so you shouldn't get paid.
and I'm like, we weren't allowed to have jobs.
Yeah.
And we didn't have enough time to have jobs.
Exactly.
Student, athlete, no.
How many hours did you take a semester?
So the minimum was 12.
Okay.
So you had to take 12. There were times where I took 15. There were other times when I took 12. But for us, you could take your 12 because you were going to be there in the summer too.
Yep.
So you're going to talk out another 12 over the course of the summer. Like, you're always in school. I tell you this example. What's it like being a D1 athlete? What's that schedule like? So I remember I get to LSU as a freshman. And we meet with all our folks. As freshmen that had come in, we meet with our folks, and they give us this schedule. And the schedule had it just had class. So at LSU, summer school is 8 weeks. So they put you in either 2, maybe 3 classes. But I think at the time I had 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at this schedule, and it's got class over here. And they're like hypothetical, like, this is when you eat lunch. And then it was real cool. And I remember I was talking with my guys. I was like, yo, I love college. Like, I love college. Look at this. Like, all this room for activities.
How hard did they laugh when you said that?
So anyway, I was talking to my current academic advisor.
Yeah.
She was kind of chuckling at me when she was like, that's not the real schedule.
That's not the real deal.
Like, I'll hand out your real schedule on Monday.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, can't be that bad. So I get the real schedule.
words.
Yeah. I get the real schedule, and it's every day, top to bottom. Top to bottom. It's 6 a.m. weights, 8:30 a.m. class, 10 a.m. class, 11:15 tutoring for one of your classes. Eat lunch. 1 o'clock tutoring for your second class. Basketball from 2 to 3:30. And you might have study hall in the evening.
Home by 8.
So after that, plus dinner, like you said, I'm getting home at 6 to 8. And then we were freshmen, so they were adding like these orientations
Oh, yeah, for sure.
as well.
Did
so
you have to stay on campus?
yes.
Okay.
So some nights when all my junior and senior teammates, sophomore teammates are going to the crib and playing the video game, I'm sitting in there in an orientation. I got to go through all these all summer. So
learning about the school.
Yeah. So like it got real quick.
But when did you end up going into the film room and doing all that kind of stuff too? Because that has to take up a lot of your day.
That's
got
to be during the season.
So yeah. That's more so like during the season. But just to answer your question, it is a full-time job. Like it's all day, and then you throw in the elements of class. Like you have to go to class in order to play.
Yeah.
Right? So student athlete, you're really an athlete student because no matter what's going on with school or anything else, like the basketball is going to come first. It might have to be before school. It might have to be late at night or whatever. But like it's going to happen. Talking about film, that's another additive where now you're starting to get into your season and you're watching film more. And I was one of the type where I like to do it all at once. I didn't like to go lift in the morning, come back, go back to the gym, then come back, then go back, and then I like to be there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I'm gonna be here. All that stuff, bro. It just takes up your entire day, and I ain't know.
It's got to be exhausting,
I remember,
even for an 18-year-old kid.
dude.
Oh,
It was a shock
for everybody.
Yeah.
It was a shock. I remember I had one of my teachers at LSU, and she was like on this power trip. So her class was once a week, but we had lab for it. So I was at the class, and at the beginning of the semester, they give you a travel letter. They give your teachers to let them know, like on these dates, like they gotta go. Yeah. And I remember one day, I think we were going to Mississippi State, and the bus was, going to be leaving soon, and I needed to leave, and some girl. This is no lie. Some girl maybe the week before, I think she had some kind of emergency, and she got up and left. And the teacher was like, "Excuse me, young lady, like, where are you going? You don't leave my class."
I know this is college.
And the girl just looked at her and was like, "I'm sorry," and just kept moving.
Deuces, yeah.
So now it's my turn. I'm trying to go to Mississippi State, and I tell her, like, I got to go. And she was like, "You don't leave my class." And I grabbed my book bag. I was like, I got to go.
You don't understand.
Like, I know I'm a student athlete, but like I got to go. Like
writing.
Yeah.
It already.
So same teacher. Another time I had a test, and most teachers are good about it because they understand. Yeah. And I emailed her. I was like, "Listen, I've got an away game.
I will not be here."
When the day of the test, and it's computerized, so it's not like you have to make some kind of accommodations for me to take it. But I also was like, I don't feel like it's fair that I get 1 day for preparation, and I got to come in here and take it when everybody else gets like 3. So I was like, can I just take it the next day when I get back from the game? And she was like, you are not going to be able to take it the day before. You either take it before or I'm sorry.
On the day. Wow.
So I had to take a test one time like super duper early, and I didn't do well. But those are just some of the things that you go through. Yeah.
Some of the things that people just don't think about.
Yeah.
Some of the professors at the university, they're not down with the university athletics. They're power on. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
That hate thing again.
Yeah. On it.
Man, I played basketball in high school. Why wasn't I good enough?
For sure.
I can.
Or they just never been athletes and don't recognize the importance of the validity or the difficulty of what you go through.
What was your favorite moment as a basketball player at State?
Individually or
both? Let's go.
So individually, the game we played against Tennessee, December of 14.
Okay.
Last year, came out there, popped out like 8 threes.
There's 24 points quick.
And I also had something against SEC schools where like,
well, of course, you did.
I didn't want to be leaving the SEC and losing the SEC
I
schools.
couldn't go to any more SEC schools. So, how many did you end up having? 24?
Nah, I ended up having 33.
All right, nothing wrong with that. I'm assuming y'all won then.
And we won.
Okay.
But I think the thing for me was I graduated the next day.
Boy, that was a good fucking 24 hours, wasn't it? Yeah. Boy, you were like riding a damn high. I can imagine that.
And my parents.
Was it at Tennessee?
No, I was in PNC.
Man, what would be better? I'll ask you that in a second. Go ahead.
And my parents were there. Families there to see me graduate. So that was a great moment for me.
Yes.
Played with families here. The next day, I got my diploma. But what you're saying, we played at Tennessee the the year before and beat them. TJ had a great game.
I bet he did.
And they had a good team.
What do you think about his cornrows, man? You still talking to that dude?
Yeah.
his cornrows he had?
Yeah.
TJ.
So I saw him recently. He had the beard going.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
And I was like, yo, man, your beard turned out nicely. Like, I never seen him with a beard like that. But, yeah, dude. But he had a great game. We ended up going over there and beating them. They had a really good team. Quanzo Martin was the coach, and they played tough as heck.
Oh, what would you rather? Would you rather score? Would you rather drop that kind of game away or home? Take away the graduation aspect and all your family being there and shit. Would you rather go into the Lions Den and torch somebody at their house, or would you rather do it at home? Because I have to imagine, man, not being like a very competitive athlete like that, like shutting somebody up in their own place, man. There's got to be like a level of just great feelings that come with that.
So there are great feelings that come with it. Me personally, I liked playing at home for the simple fact of I liked when they cheered for us.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People always talk about the aspect of the game where crowd noise and all that other kind of stuff, right? So when you're playing on the road, it's just 40 minutes of constant annoyance.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's like, yo, they do something good, cheer. You do something bad, cheer. They're always making noise. It's like it gets annoying.
But see, here's the thing, though. You have a distinct advantage over people in that kind of aspect because you went to Duke to play against Duke once a year for 3 years, right? So it's like everybody else outside of Cameron Indoor Stadium shouldn't really have that much of an effect because they're professionals over there, as much as I hate them.
To be honest, bro, Carolina was tough.
Really? Well, that's because we have an irrational hate of NC State.
And it's large.
Is that correct?
Yeah. No, it's absolutely right.
Dude, Dean Dome is large.
Yeah, it's 27,000 people or 21,000 people.
It's loud.
And it's very blue.
Yeah.
Very blue.
Virginia was pretty tough.
Yeah, for sure. That's always a hard place to play, though. I don't care what fucking school you are. That is a hard place to go in and win. I mean, they always play the same way. Was Tony Bennett, was he the coach?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that had to be really annoying to play against, just to be honest.
It was hard playing at Clemson.
Yeah?
I'm sure it was hard. Did you ever have to go up to Syracuse?
Yes.
Oh, of course they did.
Well, I know that.
When we played them, they were number one in the country, too.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because that's a tough defense to have to play.
Yeah. 2-3 zone is not tough.
You're 6'6". You're taking the shots in the middle of the free throw line, right? I would have to imagine.
So 2-3 zone is not tough, like the concept of it. But it is tough when you got dudes that are tall and
long. Oh, yeah, because
long.
all of them are like 6'8".
Yeah. So that element makes it tough because you like all the things that you normally work on, like from a skill standpoint, a zone kind of takes it out of play.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer about you beating your man.
Right. It's a team.
It's about getting it to the right spot.
Right.
Yeah.
And finding an opening. And you got these dudes running at me 6'8" and 6'9" with long arms, or then you get in the paint and you got 6'10" and 6'11" around there protecting the paint. Like, that was what made it tough.
That's why they're always a tough out.
Sure.
Yeah.
For that reason.
So, you know, like in any zone, people always talk about in football, in the zone, throw it to the middle of the field. It's kind of the same with basketball where there's always little pockets in the zone. Yeah, now the problem or the question is once you get it there, can you convert, right? But the dome itself, I've never liked domes.
That's a tough play. It's got to be a tough shooting.
Dude, my first year
Sideline.
in college, the SEC tournament was in the Georgia Dome. I hated it. I hated it.
It's so dark in there, too.
Well, it's just hard. There's nothing. There's no backdrop.
The depth perception is awful.
Yeah.
And then we go to Syracuse, my first year at State, playing, and they're number one in the country.
Greg McNamara years?
No, that was Tyler Ennis, Rakeem Christmas, C.J. Fair.
Boy, he was big.
Yeah. Trevor Cooney. Who's the Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant. Yep.
Yeah.
They're number one in the country. It's like 34,000 people in there.
A lot of fucking people.
I remember I was sitting there shooting a free throw. And it looked like the basket was just in La La Land.
Like hovering.
Yeah.
But then like you look so I looked up at the shot clock, like just to check the time, because the time's on the shot clock.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at people way on top of the shot clock, and I'm like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So like my shot with whatever arc is on my shot, it really looks like it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, straight
you
line
know, it's
drive.
like it's like weird to explain, but I can remember seeing
So
it.
a good way to explain this, I would assume, is that you're like taking a second shot on like an uphill par 5, and your ball flight is normally as such, and then it looks a lot lower.
Yeah. It's like my ball went nowhere.
Right.
So that part in itself was tough, and playing in the dome, and that was a heartbreaker for us too. We were up 1, I think, with maybe like 10 seconds to go. It was right before TJ had caught the ball, and we wanted the and one, and they said no, it's not a continuation, it's on the floor. It's kind of controversial, so we ended up having to take it out. We turned it over. CJ Fair goes off to the races, gets a layup. We come down. TJ misses the shot. We lose by 1.
That's a bummer. And you guys finished 9-9 conference that year, right? And you did make it to the tournament, though. So,
Accomplished, step
yeah,
1.
well, right. How did it feel to be able to play in the NCAA tournament?
Because that's why you left, after all.
So I was like, so we were on the bubble, right?
Yep.
And we had just the Syracuse games. We had so many games that particular year that
could have gone either way.
Like it could have gone another way.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have been on the bubble.
Right.
But we were. And I remember
That's state's plight, though. Like, I tell you.
so I'm sitting there. I think we had practice or something. But we were over at the Dale Center, NC State's campus, and we were going to watch the selection show. And I remember sitting there, I hope we're not going to watch this and we're not going to get in. So anyway.
How shitty
That would have been
be?
tough, yeah.
That would be horrible.
That would have been tough. It happens to a lot of teams every year, bro.
Yeah,
Like, every year.
Dude, they put us in, and we were just.
First round where?
So we played in the first 4.
Oh.
And we had to play against Xavier.
Dayton?
Oh.
In Dayton. We had to play against Xavier.
They're always a tough out.
Chris Mack was the
Oh,
coach.
yeah, sure.
Right?
Louisville.
The other white guy, bald white guy.
Cronin. And we did play Cincinnati when they had Mick Cronin.
He's tough, man.
Yeah. His
tough,
team
man.
played tough. But we get into the first 4, we play Xavier, beat them.
Yep.
And we had actually finished the season. Like, we were hot.
Yeah.
So beat them on a Tuesday night, get into Orlando, Florida, like
Thursday.
and got to play on Thursday
Against?
St. Louis,
Ooh.
who had won the A-10.
Yeah, they were 12 seed, right?
And they were 12.
Yeah.
No, they were 5. We were 12.
5 seed. Oh, that's right. Y'all played in the playing game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were
5 seed.
and they were
Wow.
5.
Wow. Year to year.
We were busting their butts. It's like 8 minutes to go.
Damn.
Second half, we're up like 16. And I'm not going to tell the rest of the story, but March Madness happened to us.
As it does to a lot, bro.
We ended up
does to a lot.
We ended up going into overtime with them and lost by 3. That was
tough.
a tough one.
That is tough. Was that your only tournament
No,
experience?
no.
I didn't think so.
So that was my junior year. So then the next year we were not on the bubble. Thank goodness.
You were 10-8 in conference that
Yep.
year. Yeah.
And that was another one where we had lost a handful of games, like another bounce of the ball, like 10-8 to like 14-4, 15-3, something like that.
That goes
Yeah,
from
you're to,
middle of the
like-
pack to top,
Yeah.
pun
Top
intended,
15
to the
maybe.
top of the conference.
Yeah.
That's fucking strong.
Yeah.
That's strong in ACC.
Yeah. Like we lost a handful of them.
Yeah.
Boom, right there.
Probably like Clemson and Georgia Tech and Miami
So-
or some shit you shouldn't have lost.
So you're a Carolina fan.
Uh-huh.
So the first time we played Carolina and PNC, they beat us by 2, I think. Somebody was shooting a free throw. Cody Martin, it was an intentional miss. Cody Martin goes up for the tip at the buzzer, and it was one of the best misses and one of the best tips ever, and he just missed the tip, and Carolina beat us by 2. So that was one. Notre Dame, we had them on the
They're
ropes.
always tough. Probably in South
It was
Bend.
it was at PNC.
Oh.
Went into overtime. I think they beat us by 3. Trevor Lacey shoots a 3, double pump, misses it. We lost by 3. We go down to Miami. We're beating them at half.
Larry Yeager's got those teams, bro.
Down the stretch, they just got to making shots. I think we ended up losing that game around 7. There was a handful of those where it was like a couple different things happen. We're 14-4, something like that, 15-3, whatever. But
ACC basketball.
Yeah. But that was the other thing I was telling myself is like literally this is like This is a high level basketball. So
Yeah, it's the best.
Definitely
hands down
different.
Best conference.
No, yeah, historically,
I mean,
yes.
aside
Last
from this
couple
past
years.
season.
Last couple years, yeah.
Sorry for this past.
But
season.
historically, yes.
So a 10-8 record, right? And we're not on the bubble.
No, you're solidly in. Yeah.
But 10-8 at LSU,
Oh yeah, dude, you're
Probably don't even make the
begging for your
NIT.
life. Oh yeah, for sure.
that's the difference there.
All right, so what was that tournament?
So get in. Oh,
What seed were you? Overall record?
So we were 8.
Okay.
We were
8, 9
8.
game. That's tough, bro.
And we played the 9 seed out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, ain't that some shit?
So I was like the full circle of life.
Right?
Wow.
So here
How hyped were you for that game?
All right, so
this is the story
This
right here.
is,
Yes.
yeah, for sure.
So here I am as a senior. Yeah, the worst possible scenario where you leave school, they beat you in your college career.
That's why Roy would never go back to Kansas.
Yeah, like you can't, like you can't forget about that, right? So we're watching the selection show, and they talk about the 8 seed NC State, and then they're like the 9 seed, and we had just practiced, and we were eating some food, and I'm watching the TV, and there's a picture somewhere. If I ever find it,
I gotta see.
like just the look on my face, and they announced 9 seeds LSU. I about choked on my food.
I bet.
I was like,
What the fuck?
everybody's like jumping around, and I'm sitting there, like, ain't this a bitch?
Dude, I can't even imagine that shit.
So then phone starts to blow up.
Of course it does.
So
Message boards abound.
I actually deleted my social media apps that week. I was like, yo, I can't do this.
There's no reason to have it during that time. No.
So like also I think maybe if you can go back and find the interview, there's an interview that I did like right after the selection show with the news, maybe on WRL somewhere. I could send you that link. But they're asking me all these questions, and you can see like the disdain on my face. Like I'm answering the questions, but you can see it like in my energy. It's like, dog, I can't believe
This dude ain't right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, I remember walking on campus. This is just a side story, but
Yeah.
I'm walking down the sidewalk, and the dude was like, congratulations on making it to the NCAA tournament. Did you know that y'all play LSU? And I was like,
Bro.
do I know?
Like
That's a dumbass fucking
last-
question. That's
like-
a dumbass question.
Like, do I know?
Hey, man, somebody once told me there's no dumb questions, just dumb people that ask them.
yes, that's correct.
So I looked at him, and I was like, thanks, man. And yeah, I'm aware.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
So anyway, we're playing them.
How tall was this guy?
He was the one that put it out on the message boards that he was transferring from LSU.
He's down in his mom's basement rolling a 20-sided dice or something like that.
No, he's playing with his extensive model train collection there. Tom. I'll tell you about that later, Ralston.
So Thursday rolls around, and we were playing. Well, actually, no. Wednesday. So the game was on Thursday.
Yeah, just Thursday. So you're Thursday, Saturday.
So we were Thursday, Saturday. They give you an open practice.
Okay,
So we're playing
Plus,
in
got a media and all that shit.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
have dunk contests.
Yeah. So we're playing in Pittsburgh, and we're up to practice because I think we were the next highest seed behind Villanova. So we were second in line
Is the
behind.
hockey rink?
Yep.
Okay.
Where the Penguins play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got you.
I think at the time it was called Console Energy.
Yeah, okay. Got you. I was like, there's no basketball team in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, go ahead.
So we walk up in there, and we go through our checkpoint, and we're walking down the hall, and I turn the corner, and there's cameras, like camera just standing right there, and it's like people from Baton Rouge news
course it
outlets.
is.
So I'm like, all right, here
Well,
we
they
go.
were licking their fucking lips when they saw that shit, weren't they?
like,
Yes,
Like-
they were.
like here we go. So
Here we go.
I answer them questions. I talk about LSU. Get out there on the floor. We practice, press conference, talk about LSU. So the
Fucking
next
annoying
day,
was that, I'm sure.
dude, I was LSU'd out by the end of that week.
I bet.
Like, I was drained going into the game, right? Thursday rolls around. We play LSU. Started the game off well, personally and as a team. And then I just went cold.
It happens.
But most of our scoring came from the guards. And we all just weren't really hitting shots like we normally did.
Who were your guards?
So
You.
our starters were myself, Trevor Lacey, Cat Barber.
Oh, Cat Barber.
Cat Barber.
Boy, that dude could play.
Yeah, he's fast, quick as lightning.
Quick.
He single-handedly, when we played at Louisville and beat them, he single-handedly was basically the reason because they couldn't press him.
Dude, he can just get by. He was like Ty Lawson. He was a
Dude.
taller Ty Lawson.
Like, they could not press him.
Yeah.
We all just weren't hitting the shots the way we normally do. LSU, the strength of their team was their bigs. They had Jordan Mickey and Jarrell Martin. So they were big-time athletes,
Yeah,
and
big
they could play. So they're killing us. I'm talking about halftime. They're up like they might be up 16.
You're like, this is the worst.
So this is yeah, dude. This can't be real.
This is not the thing. Yeah.
So anyway, we come out in the second half, and slowly we just start knocking away at that lead, and then you know how I mentioned March Madness happened to us the year before. The tables had turned,
good
and it
times.
happened to them.
Oh, good
So
times.
now they're starting to miss, and now they're starting to miss free throws, and we're going and we're making, and so we get it down to the end of the game. I think they're up 1, and they go drive to the basket. I come rotate over, try to take a charge. No call, but he misses the layup.
Okay.
Trevor Lacey gets it, dribbles it. Godfrey calls timeout. We come out of the timeout. We draw up an isolation for Trevor on the elbow. They do a great job of defending him. Trevor gets up in the air and passes it to B.J. Anya. B.J. takes one dribble, spins to over his right shoulder and throws up a left-handed hook shot, and it rolls over the rim and falls in.
Shit.
Malik Abu almost touched it, and Lord would I have been mad.
Oh,
if that
I
happened.
bet. So y'all win.
But I think it's important to point out, too, that our coaches had been barking at BJ about throwing that left-handed hook. Like it's not good. It doesn't work. Stop throwing it. And for the game, he threw it, and it goes in. Like 0.7 seconds on the clock left. We win by 1. And I just was like,
dude.
Yeah.
No, you definitely can't make this shit up, man.
So,
like, I remember BJ Anya.
Yep.
That dude was fucking huge.
Dude.
Talking about a big-ass dude.
Dude.
Big-ass fucking dude.
Arms drug the floor.
Dude, like his jersey fit like Draymond Green's did his freshman year of college. Like
I see the conversation in the locker room. It's like the manager from the Indians in Major Leagues. Like, great shot. Don't ever fucking do it again.
It was amazing, man. All right, so then we get the 1 seed, which was Villanova.
what year was this?
2015. So Villanova had just beaten the dog, you know what, out of, I think, Northeastern.
Dude, they're just a solid fucking basketball team.
We're playing them second.
In Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh.
That's not cool because they're Philly, so that's not cool.
And we were ready, man. Like, we were ready for them because to go back to that whole ACC conference deal.
Sure, you had strength of schedule. You had competition that you were playing that was at the level that you were or more.
We had a confidence about us that, again, no disrespect to you. You're the 1 seed, and we respect that. But if you'd have been in the ACC, no.
So this was 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So did you play Duke twice that year?
Once.
Did
Played Virginia.
You beat them?
We beat them in the regular season.
You beat Duke in the regular season. So you had already played the eventual national champion.
Yep.
And beaten them.
Yep.
There's nothing Villanova could tell you that you hadn't seen. So
Played Virginia twice.
Sure. Yeah,
I think
played Carolina twice.
I think that year.
Yeah.
So Kentucky was a clear-cut number 1. I mean, Carlton Towns, Devin Booker, that team.
Oh yeah, dude. Duke won a bullshit national championship. So yeah.
But after that, I think Virginia was number 2. Duke was number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think Notre Dame was like 7.
That's so stupid.
Louisville was 9.
Sure, Louisville always has a good.
Carolina was 13. So that's 5 right there, just in the top 15, and 4 in the top 10. So we just had that confidence. Again, we respect what you guys have, but
We played you before.
we didn't been here before. We were out there and we were ready. Don't get me wrong, they were tough.
Yeah.
They were tough.
Is that Archie Diacono?
Diacono.
Yeah, boy, fucking Chris Jenkins and the boys that beat us the following year in the national championship game. Good times. It's a painful day of my life.
So we came out there, man, and we were on them. We got up on them. Second half, they made a comeback right down there at the end. It's desperation time, so they're trying to hurry up and score as fast as they can and throw it up, and they'd cut it to 1. And then I get fouled, go to the free throw line, like 3 seconds to go on the clock. I got 2 shots.
1.
Yep, up 1. Sink both of them, so now we're up 3.
Look at you. Pressure free throws hitting both of them in the NCAA tournament.
Big fundamentals right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
They heave
Shaq
that.
would be proud. You owe me, remember?
They heave that ball long. We ended up intercepting it, game over, and we're going to the Sweet 16.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Where you play Louisville.
play Louisville.
Oh, man.
So that's another annoying thing is like when you start playing against each other again.
Sure.
Get back to it.
Second or third time of the year, you already know each other, tendencies and shit.
Now you're not in the position where you're like, all right, we're not worried about you.
Like, we've been here before.
Yeah.
So have we. So how'd that go?
So we're back in Syracuse, the place that I don't like playing in the dome. And that game was like a slugfest as well. They were in a matchup zone, which is, in my opinion, a little harder than a 2-3 because there's so many moving parts.
It's flying to people. In the wings
like
and
people
shit.
are just passing off, and it's. But game was close all the way through. We had taken the lead right before half, or I just knocked down a three. Great pass from Cat Barber.
It's
right
good
before
shooting motion, by the way. I like the way your wrist stayed up there.
Great pass by Cat Barber. So I think that it put us up like 4 or 5, something like that. And in the blink of an eye, they inbound the ball. Terry Rozier comes up the right side.
He's tough, bro.
Knocks down a three.
Yeah, of course he does.
So we're down. So we're up 1 or 2. Second half, Montrezl was a beast.
Whew. He still is.
We ain't had no answer for him.
Of course.
Game gets tight. We're down in like the last 8 minutes or so. They put Anton Gill in. I think that was his name. Hadn't played much at all. Hadn't scored much at all. And
March Madness.
It's
like, it's a real thing, bro.
He rattles off like 7 in a row.
It's a real thing.
Boom, boom, boom. And we just couldn't get over that.
Yeah.
Like that last boom, like we just couldn't get over it. So
my question is,
run, though.
because that Patina was still there at that time. How much do you think those dudes were getting paid?
A lot. All of it. All of the money. And probably giving all their money to the strippers.
that's a good question, man.
He's like, more than me.
Look, I ain't gonna let off that dude for a minute.
No way.
Who knows?
Everywhere he's
who
ever
knows?
been, he destroyed the
So,
program.
Calipari's the same way. That motherfucker still has a job.
Yeah, but
So, I don't
you
know
know,
what I'm
he's
talking
doing
about
it in
here
Kentucky.
about that. Exactly.
They're
He's
a little
protected.
tight-lipped there.
He's a made man.
Yeah,
He's protected.
exactly, yeah.
Right.
Speaking of the ACC as well, now looking back on it, there were 4 Hall of Fame coaches in our league at the same time. Boeheim, Krzyzewski, Roy, and Patino.
Patino, sure, yeah.
4 guys at the time.
You're going to be able to add Leonard Hamilton to that list pretty soon.
You see what I'm saying? Like, talk about the competition,
And
but
then
even
Larry,
like the leadership,
Yeah.
like the coaching, like wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just imagine what it was like back in the day and stuff. We had Krzyzewski and Bobby Crimmins and Dean Smith and all those.
and
Terry
guys
Holland
staying
and all
3
that
and 4 years,
It's fucking nasty, right?
like
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think has created so much parity is that nobody's staying anymore. Even if they're staying in school, they're
transferring.
People are transferring.
It's a what have you done for me now society. So what are you going to do about that?
I guess, or maybe where can I shine the most? It's not.
Sure.
It's not as much where can I go and contribute to a championship team. It's where can I go and be the man?
Be the where I'm what they're talking about.
Exactly.
Walker Kessler's Exhibit A.
Because if
For
you're
real.
the man,
You
you're the
know I'm
man.
not
That
lying.
translates into. Do I
Sure.
get drafted? Do I get
Absolutely.
paid? If you score 10, 11, 12 points a game on a team where your team is stacked and you win a national championship, do you get drafted? Maybe. You're not
Sure.
you're not a lottery pick, but you may be if you went to a mid-major and you're scoring 30 a game. But you're not going to win a championship.
I'm not wrong though, Ralston. Walker went to Auburn.
Auburn's good
They're
now.
not going to win any damn championships, bro. Come on now. Be real.
They almost did a couple years ago.
Come on now. Just because they beat Carolina winning the Final Four don't mean they're almost winning a championship and shit. They're still Auburn, bro.
That was an interesting tournament.
Yeah, that was whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta know because I have a lot of things that I've heard about playing overseas, right? So the thing I've heard most recently is Tyler Hansbrough said how much he loved it because he was like adored in China, right? How does like the European League stack up with what you dealt with in college? And I've heard like they pay for you to get a house and a car, and then they pay you to play. So how much of all this stuff is actually true?
I think there's some truth to that because kind of like anything, situation matters.
Okay.
So you can be in one situation, it could be really good, and then you could be in another situation, and dude, I hate every minute of this.
Right.
I would imagine for Tyler Hansbrough, as decorated as he was and had a stint in the league.
This wasn't an NBA. Too much intensity, I think.
I actually played against him in the G League.
That motherfucker.
He plays hard.
You think so? Do you know that he still plays pickup basketball with these boys, and they say he's still the hardest guard?
I know it.
Yeah.
You don't turn that off.
And these are 20-year-old
Yeah,
kids,
like,
19 and 20-year-old kids. They're like, I can't guard this guy.
Yeah, like you don't turn that off.
This is a damn Woolen and shit. Like, in Carolina.
But I can imagine in that situation, especially with his resume, he probably did go to a great situation. But then you got some guys like myself who were just starting out. I went somewhere with great opportunity. It wasn't a great situation. So I went to a little country called Georgia.
Yeah.
Former.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
uncle's from Soviet Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is Stalin.
Yeah,
so,
his mom still lives in Tbilisi.
That's where I was.
Yeah, his mom still lives there.
And I did not like it.
Yeah.
I did not.
Dude, she told me stories about her standing in line for fucking bread like 10 years ago, bro. So,
Dude.
like yeah.
I didn't How do you say it? Tbilisi. All right, Tbilisi.
Dude, I don't know. That may be the Americanized version, but that's what my uncle says, and his name is Anzor Ladze. So I think
Ladze. Yeah.
So you went to Georgia.
Yeah.
Was that right after graduation, or did you? I mean, did you get drafted to the league? What happened? How did that transition happen for you?
Went to the pre-draft process. Went to summer league. After summer league, went with the Hornets.
Okay.
After summer league, an opportunity came up where this team in Georgia had moved up to Division A.
Yeah.
It was their first year in it, so they didn't have the budget that some of the others had, which means they had to go younger. Mm-hmm. But it was a great opportunity to play in the VTB league. So the VTB league at the time. Great league, tough league. You ever heard of like Cheska Moscow? Mm-hmm. So they're in the VTB. Unix, Stan, Kimkey. You remember little Tyrese Rice from Boston College?
Dude, don't even. Let's not talk about it.
Dude.
Can we move on from that?
So we played.
This guy.
So we played Kimkey, and like Tyrese Rice was giving us the work.
I don't understand how he didn't make the league. First of all, that little dude can fucking shoot, bro.
You know what I'm saying? He was out there giving us the work.
I'm telling you.
But those teams had those kinds of guys. They had big budgets, right? So I wanted an opportunity to go up against those kinds of teams. High risk, high reward. Sure. All of a sudden, the money stopped coming, and I was like, okay, I can't stay and not get paid.
Right.
They weren't. The team didn't have the budget to pay the players.
The way it works over there is you get your money from the sponsors.
Okay.
So there's a number of things that could happen to prevent that from happening. Maybe your sponsor got mad at you and then gives money. I don't know. We never got an explanation. All they kept telling us was be patient, like we'll get you your money, and it never
that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it never got there.
I need
the
this
monies
on this.
Yeah.
On this paper, on this contract.
Yeah.
In my pocket.
Did you have a manager?
Like an agent?
I had an agent, and I think it's important that I put on this podcast. I honored my contract.
Yeah.
I honored everything, and I even gave a little grace. I wasn't a a-hole about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, dude, I can't be here. The plan was at the time to stay over in Europe and just try to get another job because they say it's easier if you just stay over there.
Sure.
So this was like a couple days after, or maybe a day after. I wake up one morning and like we're on different time zones, so I wake up in the morning, it was nighttime here, so I'm trying to call my mom and stuff, and my Wi-Fi don't work. And I'm like, okay, so they done cut off my Wi-Fi.
Shit.
The team did.
Yeah.
Ooh, shit.
Because, like, I don't, or they didn't pay the bill or whatever.
Yeah.
I woke up the next day,
there was no fucking Wi-Fi.
There was no Wi-Fi.
No internet.
Yeah.
So I went to one of my teammates' apartments just to use his Wi-Fi. And when he would go to practice, I'd hang out in Subway because they had Wi-Fi. So after that, I just kept thinking to myself, like, what's next?
You must have stuck out like a sore thumb sitting in that damn Subway.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could tell you, like, how people would stare at you. And I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if it was because I was black or because I'm tall.
Or black. And
I don't know.
Didn't speak the language.
All of the above.
Yeah, I couldn't understand them.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was like, man, what's going to happen next? By the way, you said this was your cousin?
My uncle.
My uncle.
Yeah, by marriage.
So has he ever talked to you about, I think it's called kachapui or something like that?
Sounds like a food.
It's some kind of like cheesy bread.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
So, dude, they make that in this something that's a honey cake. I don't know what it's called. You know what? I'll find out, though. But go ahead.
Dude.
Some good shit.
I've had the Georgia cheese bread. We
that's
made
some
it
good
here.
shit.
My fiance's brother, lives in Moscow, and he comes here all the time. We go to the Russian grocery stores and we buy shit like that and make it because for whatever reason he thinks it's the best food in the world. It's tasty, but man, have some seasoning. Come on. They don't believe in salt and chilies there at all. At all. It's potatoes and bullshit.
Yeah, dude. Look, because they had to stand in line for fucking bread.
Yeah.
So that's why they don't. Yeah. They don't want us to have to stand in line for seasoning.
Yeah.
It's like I can't even imagine. All right, so you back.
All right, so came back, went to Grand Rapids.
Okay.
So
That's
finished
Iowa.
out,
Iowa?
No, Michigan, Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, okay.
So finished out the season there. Then the next year I got traded to Greensboro.
Marcus Page? Right, is this
Nope,
like
I was the year before.
Okay. I was going to say full circle there.
That year Marcus played for, I think, Utah.
He did play for Utah.
Or Salt Lake
for
City.
2 years.
I think that's what they were called. So then after that, came out of basketball.
And then did what? Just went straight to professional?
So yeah, just
professional life.
yeah. So
how how did it feel saying, you know what,
I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah, that's because I know a lot of athletes, they just, even when they're done, they can't give up the idea that someday it's going to happen for me. Right.
So I think this is a multi-layered question. And I think for myself, I didn't truly believe that I was done when I was done.
Yeah.
And it was something that I kind of just fell into it by accident, and it just kept going that direction. But it was one of those things where I didn't plan on being done. I didn't go into that summer saying I'm done. Like,
Well, I mean, you're still young.
Yeah. Like it just kind of transpired. But I think it's worth noting what you were saying. The transition out of that is so underrated and not talked about enough.
You've done this your whole life, and now you're not doing it.
So when I stopped playing, I was 25, and I had probably played organized basketball since I was 4 or 5. So we're talking about
that's tough.
It's 95% of my life.
And at that point, it's over. It's
your
beyond
basketball career was old enough to drink.
Yeah. Exactly.
So then all of a sudden, it's now you got to go do something different. And to some people, that's like a breath of fresh air. But to an athlete, it's when you put so much into it for so long, and it's literally like life. Like all my decisions.
Well, it was your life. It was your job.
Not only was it a job, but it's the dream, right? When you were 4 years old and you started playing basketball, what were you thinking?
You're hitting
out
free
there
throws at Game 7 in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's what it all builds up to, right? We all have this realization, everybody who's ever been an athlete at any level, like, all right, it's not happening. Right. For me, I was a swimmer, and my high school and middle school was very much like what you're describing college, where it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm swimming for 2 hours, and after school I'm hitting an hour weights and 2 more hours in the pool. But at a certain point, you realize that you're never going to be Michael Phelps.
True.
And when you come to that realization, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
What do I do now? Right? I put so much of everything into this.
So what made you stop?
Man, it's hard, man.
Want to, or?
I think, so I'm a Christian, and I believe sometimes God puts you in places and situations that maybe you don't understand at the time, but that was his plan for me. It was like he said, you've completed your obligation of impacting people as a basketball player, but now I need you to go impact people in a different way. And I just followed it. Like, I don't have any other explanation for why I would stop playing basketball other than that. Because, again, I loved basketball. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, man, I ain't doing this no more. It's like
That's not fun.
a series of events. It's just, dude, like, this is bigger than me.
So did you go home to Alabama, or did you straight come to Raleigh?
So, no, went to Alabama and started there, worked there for 3 or 4 years, and then came here. So actually started out at Merrill Lynch, and then maybe 9 months ago moved over to Morgan Stanley, and then this year I moved back to this area. But I've been in it since 2000.
March.
March, yep.
Here. Okay.
So I've been in it since 2017, but I just felt like it was time for me to go impact the people in a different way.
When you came back home, so to speak.
Came back home, baby.
Yeah. Well, came back home twice because he went back to Alabama.
Right, and then he came here.
To Raleigh.
Back to Raleigh. Right. Yeah. Dude, I was like, it's a hell of a story, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
It's a big journey. Long fucking journey.
Man. Oh, yeah.
Do you still play ball at all?
I do, and I can. I played pickup regularly before COVID, and then obviously COVID had put a monkey wrench in that. But
that's why you started playing golf, man.
They ever have you come to state and talk to any of the guys there?
So I used to go over there all the time, and I used to hoop heck over there. Actually, a couple years ago, I was in town, like during the winter, and they just called me up one day and asked me if I'd come over there and practice and do some scout team for them.
That's cool.
So I went put on a practice jersey, and I'm out there just hooping it up.
Well, dude, there's always trying to guard somebody.
Playing scout
somebody
team.
with long arms to do that Syracuse.
You were playing the middleman in the zone.
Exactly.
What was the G League like, though? Like, just you don't have to go in depth or anything, but like, I'm fascinated.
G League's a grind.
Yeah.
And I think contrary to public perception, like when it's like the people are like, it's just pick up basketball. And no, dude, it's really competitive.
Yeah.
It is
Well,
really.
that's because it's like college.
Yeah.
You're playing to make it.
Yeah, it's like really competitive. We do have game plans.
Sure. We do have game plans.
We do have scouting reports.
Sure.
We do run plays.
Yeah, no shit.
It is.
Yeah. But it's a grind. Everybody's trying to make it. You go from NC State, all the lavish things that come with that.
ACC basketball, yeah.
And then ACC basketball to getting on a bus. No, not the facilities. Not the support. Your games are on like Facebook Live. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Traveling
I
commercial.
don't know, man. You ever seen the commercials that are on ACC Network? I don't know. Facebook Live maybe. All right. You fucking have the Spurtle and shit. Magic Irish potato peeler or whatever. It's like
Potato in 3 minutes.
It's the worst shit in the fucking blue blockers. The worst shit in the world.
Oh man.
But yeah, dude, that's a hell of a story, man. I'm glad that you were here. I'm glad. It seems like we've already been here like 2 hours, which is pretty freaking close.
Well, what do you do now as an athlete to satisfy that need, that competitive hunger in yourself to anybody who's been an athlete? There's always a need to compete against somebody, to prove you're the best at something. What satisfies that now for you?
So I would say Kobe Bryant was my guy. I love Kobe.
Stan, yeah,
man.
And I remember him saying, I read this quote where his advice to some young guys was, start figuring out what you like now. Don't wait until then. Figure out what it is or what you're interested in and try some things, right? And he was a prime example of that. He goes straight from basketball to he's writing books and making
Oscars.
Yeah, making movies and stuff.
Rare breed.
Yeah, so I kind of took that advice as well, where I was like, okay, I still love basketball, but someday I won't be able to play it.
Sure.
Even Father Time will just track me down. But
Sure.
I needed something else to do. So I was like, what can I do and do for a really long time? And I got into golf. And golf, for me, I keep burning all my money, spending all my time out there.
All right.
I'm not any good.
I got a suggestion for you. Dude. I'll give you this in a second.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. You can't get into golf to satisfy that wanting to beat the shit out of everybody. I can tell you what,
Golf is hard.
golf is hard, bro. It's the most humbling thing you'll ever do in your life.
But it filled that void. Like I just felt like I need to do something.
You flush that 1-3 wood or 1-7 iron just nice, and you're like, all right, this is it. This is what I'm doing now. This is where I live. Right?
I'm gonna show you how to do the same thing, but spend way less money.
Way less money.
Way less money.
Oh, he's all into it for sure.
I'm gonna show you about disc golf.
You ever played disc golf?
I have not, but
It's super fun and it's free.
Yeah, I had a couple of friends that went and played it one time, and I actually, when I was at home in Alabama, there was a golf course, but it was next to a field where they would play disc golf, and it used to look so like bananas, and me just seeing those frisbees.
Oh, it's crazy.
You know?
It's crazy, bro.
But like it looks really interesting.
We went and played 18 2 weeks ago Thursday, and it took us an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's easy.
Yeah, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And because instead of the holes being 400 or 500 yards, they're 300 and 400 feet. Right. So it makes the walk a lot quicker. You can still drink beer, right? So it made the walk a lot quicker, but it is free and it's fun, bro. It's fun. We'll get you out there one day, man.
The top level professionals now, the dudes are making millions, sponsorships, stuff like that. So it's gone from being like something that people considered a recreational sport to now it's legit.
So we had somebody on the podcast a few months back. Her name is Elaine King. She lives in Durham. She's a 7-time world champion.
Whew.
Yeah. Nuts.
Go, Elaine.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And she had one of the most ridiculous shots anybody's ever seen ever in the history of disc golf. So it's very fascinating.
I just brought it up because that's what I do. Like he and I have this conversation ongoing. You got to play more golf. I'm like, nah.
He started to play, then he stopped playing. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Tom.
I feel like when I'm on a golf course, like no lie, 90% of the time I'm mad and only 10% I'm happy. Yeah. But that 10% just makes me keep doing it.
I know.
And over and over.
But then you sit back and think about the day overall. Once you're done, you're like, man, that was a good day.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah, it's all about perspective.
Know?
You're absolutely right.
So.
And golf is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life.
For sure.
And one of the most satisfying, if it's not just for 5 seconds.
For sure.
When you hold that pose and you're watching that perfect shot go down the fairway.
We got to get him out with DW.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Jackie, I'm a friend of Jackie's, and I helped her find some sponsors for last year. And I was going to be the cart girl, so to speak, at the tournament last year. And she called me 2 days beforehand. She said, I have a surprise for you. I want you to play in the tournament. And I don't know do you know D. Todd? Does that name sound familiar? So I played with her sons, Stu, Chuck, Caton, Tony Womack. Like, we had a good freaking time. 1 second. Got these cool little whiskey glasses. So I have to. Are you signed up for the Derek Wittenberg?
Right now, yeah. Right now, I'm signed up to play.
Okay. Who you playing with?
I think the Atlantic Tire Crew.
Okay. And then you get one celebrity.
I don't know who.
You never
He's the
do.
celebrity.
You never do. Dude,
You're the celebrity.
Are you the celebrity, Ralston? Are you the celebrity, Ralston?
I don't think I'm.
Are you? Are you?
No.
I think he is.
No.
No, but that's a good time. You ever played at Wakefield before?
I've never played at Wakefield.
That's a good track,
course.
bro.
Really?
It's a really nice track. Yeah. So
lots of
Dom
elevation
took my
changes.
spot.
Yeah,
Last
I was
year.
driving around on the car.
Yeah. So Dom took my spot once I got able to play. I called Dom.
My job was there. Mine was to just sit at the green.
Oh yeah, the
for
11th green
yeah,
or 10th green.
Yeah, for the
hole in one.
The hole in one.
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah. That was good times.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a
they
nice
had to
track.
have somebody
Nice
at the tee box, somebody at the green to verify for
because they were
insurance
giving away a
purposes.
BMW or
exactly,
some shit, right?
Because if somebody hit a hole in one,
Yeah.
they win a car.
Was
Yeah, it was
there
good
a
time.
longest
Sure.
drive out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they have someone sing that too?
Yeah.
See, they do it right, man.
Yeah.
Like, I played in some places where,
bro.
but I played in some places where they got like longest drive and all that, and
but
nobody's out there
right,
watching.
When you're putting a $60,000 automobile on the
Yeah.
line, you got an insurance company
Right,
that's
right.
insuring that contest.
Well,
you need to be able
And they
to
were giving away a
verify that.
trip for the longest drive.
Because I
Right.
can tell you, if somebody did win that car,
That's a lot.
I guarantee you I'd be getting interviewed by an
Yep.
insurance actuary of some kind or
and,
another.
And think about it this way, man. Does Jackie ever do anything half-ass?
No.
Right. See what I'm saying? And you know that it's going to be done right.
Oh, yeah.
Her and Derek are not going to mess around. It's going to be done right. Dude, they had 100 freaking volunteers out there that day. It was nuts.
DW is the most serious competitor out there. He
Oh,
wants to
for
win that
sure. He
tournament
wants to
every
win.
year.
He wants to win every year, and he lost last year, and he was pissed.
He won the car a few years ago.
That
Yeah,
does
yeah.
not surprise me even a little bit.
His own tournament.
I remember that.
He can
story.
play.
Yeah.
Derek can play.
Yeah.
I've never played with him, but I've seen.
Man, listen.
Yeah, you play with Derek.
Talk trash.
Really? Can you imagine? He was a coach and a player.
I feel like you've already lost.
Yeah.
If you can't withstand the noise, it's like the crowd noise, man. Like
Exactly.
you're already out your game before you even started.
There was a thing that I recently saw. It was about Michael Jordan. So we're talking about competitiveness, and this is on Instagram earlier, and it was one of the craziest things. So it was Michael Douglas and Michael Jordan playing golf. And Michael Douglas said, I lined up the putt. And over, Jordan started ripping the Velcro on his golf glove. I was like, what are you doing? And Jordan said, if I can make a free throw with 20,000 people screaming at me, you can make a putt with me making a little noise. That sounds like me and Derek would be on the golf course.
Just sink the shot.
But Mike is like the ultimate competitor.
You're right.
So that may be a little bit different.
Right.
It might be sociopathically.
What did he tell?
competitive.
We had Doherty on the show a couple months back. What did he tell Matt on the golf course? He said whatever makes you whatever.
Well, he will. When you're betting with Mike on the golf course, you need to be ready to bet what you're uncomfortable losing.
Yeah, because that's what he told Matt Doherty.
Not bet what you're comfortable losing.
Yeah.
Bet what you're uncomfortable.
Because he said, how much are we
losing.
playing for? He said, whatever you're uncomfortable losing. Right.
Whoa.
It's just a different level
Wow,
of shit,
dude.
man.
yeah. Nah.
Well, Ralston, we've had you here literally for 2 hours now. You've been here for 2 hours. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up, man. Tell everybody where they can find you, man, non-professionally. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, media, that kind of stuff.
So Instagram, my name's RoTurn22. Twitter, it's Ro_turn. I don't really do Snapchat. I don't have a TikTok.
Me too old for that.
Yeah,
So-
I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Twitter, Instagram, RoTurn22 Instagram, Ro_turn on Twitter.
Okay. We'll put all that in the show notes, too.
Yeah, of course, and you can find us, of course, at the Joe Schmo Sports Show, JoeSchmoSportsShow.com, the Joe Schmo Sports Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher,
Google.
all the places, Google, yeah, of
Spotify.
course, and we are everywhere on social media at J Schmo Sports,
Including YouTube. Joe
and
Schmo Sports Show.
including the Joe Schmo Sports Show on YouTube. Yeah, of course.
All right, so I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap it up then. So, Ralston, again, bro, thank you for your time.
Yeah,
thank you for
being
coming
here,
out
man.
to Morrisville for the first time.
Welcome to Speaking to Me.
Yeah, well, and welcome, man. Next time, hopefully it'll be fall, and we can have you back out here and be actually downstairs.
Absolutely, man. For having me.
Absolutely, bro. It's been a blast. And until next time, folks, we are the Schmos. We'll see you.
Cut to the theme music.
Joe Schmo.